Okay, everybody, the Iceman here on the Jeffrey Rose Iceman V2013 YouTube channel. And it's like about 2:18 Eastern Time here in the Northeast of the United States. I watched Bound for Glory last night. And, you know, um, before I get into talking about that show and maybe possibly the MSG show, which was on Saturday, this topic is really about the immaturity of some wrestling fans. Um, you know, not just on YouTube or Twitter or Daily Motion, but just basically all around the world. In fact, the bottom line is the wrestling business is at pretty much a low at this point. Um, and, if you're a fan of Ring of Honor, obviously you're going to, that is going to be your best promotion. And then possibly WWE, TNA, PWG, Lucha, or anybody else is going to like really play no significant role, as far as competing with Ring of Honor. Now, with that being said, I went into Bound for Glory last night not expecting a real lot from TNA wrestling. Okay. I wasn't even sure if I was going to watch it. My intentions were to, but I watched a lot of football yesterday, and I was sort of tired, when it came around to the 8 o'clock Eastern time. But I decided to watch it, and then there was a couple people that contacted me and said, "Hey, do you have a link that we could watch it on?" So I sent them the link, and I'm not going to mention their names, and I know that they watched it because we were conversing back and forth throughout the night. Um, the show was pretty darn good right from the beginning. I don't know what people really expect. Um, when TNA, with the roster that they have, can put on a show, to me, that was or has been better than what the WWE can do at times with the roster that the WWE has to make you wonder sometimes. Yeah, people are saying, okay, Matt Hardy won the TNA World Heavyweight belt last night, but why not? They were in Carolina, North Carolina. They were 100 miles away from his hometown. Jeff Hardy was there. His dad was there. Matt Hardy's wife and child were there. Isn't this something that all our other promotions do? So, what was so wrong about TNA doing it? A lot of people are saying, okay, Matt Hardy is not um, a guy that should be a title holder. So be it. How many times have we seen in other promotions that guys have the belt that we don't believe are qualified to hold a title? This is where the immaturity of wrestling fans can come in. Um, if you didn't watch the show, but then you can go online and someone will make a remark about it, or say the show was pretty good, and then you get somebody else commenting saying, well, I didn't like it, and then you continue to comment saying it sucked when you didn't watch it. To me, that's immature. I mean, I am a fan of all wrestling, and I've always been a fan of all wrestling. I mean, I'll be honest with you, back in the NWA days, I was more of an NWA fan, and I probably was more one-sided to them. But once Turner bought out the Crockett's and it became WCW, there was a long stale spell for WCW. I don't think it was until WCW Saturday Night came around on TBS that I started getting attached to it once again. And then, of course, Eric Bischoff and his, that's all we hear about now is how he made WCW into what it was. He made WCW into the contender of the WWF because he created NWO. So be it, it happened. But, it doesn't really matter. Um, Everybody likes their promotion, and I do understand that. But back when I was watching WCW and I was, watching Nitros on Monday night. I never bashed WWF. Um, I would try to switch in between commercial breaks, but unfortunately, a lot of times when WCW went to commercial, so did WWE. So you get a little frustrated. But I did the best I could. There was times where I set up two televisions so I could sort of like flick back and forth and watch them both because I am a wrestling fan. But not at any time did I ever put down the WWF when I was solely a WCW fan. Nowadays, with the internet and everything else, people like to join bandwagons. It's like the John Cena hate bandwagon, whereas, there's a lot more John Cena fans out there than people would like to admit. But because there's a majority out there that dislike John Cena and you're friends with the people that dislike John Cena, you don't want to admit it. And that's the bottom line. And to me, you're immature, you're being a coward. Now, I watched a video by Charlie Rance. This guy, I don't know what to make of him. I don't really associate with him too much. I know he drinks a lot. He never has nothing good to say about TNA. He never has nothing good to say about WWE. I don't know where he's coming from. Maybe that is just his makeup for his channel because he wants to rant on everything. And, if that's the case, so be it. But some of the things he says doesn't even make sense. He was ranting on the Kurt Angle Eric Young match last night at Bound for Glory. He never even spoke about the fact that in the beginning, with the pile driver by Eric Young and Kurt Angle, that supposedly injured Kurt Angle's neck, that the uh, uh, gosh, can't even think of the right words. The medical people came in and stopped the match, said Kurt Angle could not go. Kurt Angle even said he couldn't go. And then, of course, Eric Young continued on. And then we all that knew, that watched the show, know what happened there after. But Charlie never mentioned a word about it. So it leads me to believe he probably didn't even watch it. He probably read the results, and he's just ranting from what he read. But if he did watch it, no, more power to him. But I give a lot of credit to Aaron Rift. Aaron Rift watched the show. He thought it was a pretty fun show from beginning to end. And, like Aaron said, everybody on that roster that was involved in that show basically, performed to the best of their ability. And this is what it's all about. People take too much stock in putting one promotion up against another. Um, it shouldn't be like that no more. I mean, in all honesty, there's not really that much of competition anymore like there used to be. WWE is solely on top of the wrestling world, regardless of how good their product is, because to be quite honest with you, their product isn't all that great either. Nobody is outstanding in their product. And so for anybody to bash another promotion when the promotion that they root for isn't doing all that much better, I mean, seriously, you need to look in the mirror. And that's the truth. It really is the truth. I, watching Bound for Glory, like I said, I went into it figuring, okay, it might be the very, very last pay-per-view by TNA, and I didn't know. I still don't know to this day if it's going to be. But I wanted to make sure I got to watch it, and at least I could say if that was the very last pay-per-view that I was there watching it, and I supported them. And I'm pretty proud of that because I've been a TNA supporter since they've been around since 2002, 2003. And I've been watching them ever since. As when I could. I mean, there were times when it was very, very hard to watch, but there's always ways. Like I said last night, someone had mentioned on Facebook about pay-per-views, and I said there's always a way to watch a pay-per-view. And it is true. It's damn true. And last night, like I said, uh, the pay per view delivered in my eyes. I mean, for me, it was fun. I mean, I never even looked at the clock. I didn't know it was over until it ended, to be quite honest with you. Whereas most pay per views that I watch, sometimes you look up at the clock and say, well, you want to know how much time is left because, sometimes it's ho hum, it gets boring. It's much like when you're watching Monday Night Raw when it starts at 8 o'clock. And when 8:30 rolls around, you're thinking it's like 9:30, quarter to 10, and you're looking at the clock, and it's only like 8:30, 8:31, and you're going, "Oh man, we got another 2.5 hours to go." But yeah, so there's just there's a lot of fans that just hate for the fact of hating because others hate and they're friends with those that hate, and they don't want to be the ones to say, "Hey, I thought it was good," but yet your friend is saying, "No, it really sucked. I couldn't stand it." Or if you're a big YouTuber and they didn't like the show, uh, a smaller YouTuber is not going to go against them and say it was good because they're worried about their viewers, they're worried about their subscribers. For me, I say like it is. I've always have, and anybody that knows me knows that I will. And I've been doing this for a very, very long time. I've seen probably more wrestling than you know um, most people here on YouTube. I mean, not everybody, because I know there's a lot of other people out there that have watched wrestling just as long or longer than I have, but it's in a small, uh, it's a minority amount. And, but yeah, I mean, if I compared Bound for Glory to the MSG show in New York on Saturday, Bound for Glory actually, in my eyes, was a better show. I think the cage match with Rollins and John Cena probably was a better match than any one of the ones on Bound for Glory, but that was about the only one that really was. And I think everything else on TNA probably exceeded pretty much what was on the MSG show. Now, I know, people have no problem to hate on you when they write comments on your YouTube page and whatnot, or on your Facebook page. But that's easier said than done. Um, I know there are those out there that I'm closer to that if we have a difference in opinion, we have no problem, saying it to each other because we know we're not saying it in hate. We're saying it as friends, and we respect each other's opinion. But there's a lot out there that when you comment on a YouTube video and whatnot, you don't really, um, it's not like you're saying it to the person's face. You're actually stating it to somebody on paper or whatnot, however you want to call it. But yeah, so there are really a lot of immature wrestling fans out there, and it's everywhere. Don't get me wrong. It's not just on YouTube, it's on Facebook, it's on Twitter, it's on Daily Motion, it's just on the internet in general. But, you know, when the older wrestling fans are trying to educate some of the younger wrestling fans, these younger fans try to act like they know more than the older wrestling fans. For an example, um, you know, if you watch DVD videos by Gemini 888, he's got a great collection of DVDs. And, you know, I don't know how many times he'll put up a video and I'll read some of the totally immature comments that he gets. And it's like, I say to myself, well, this is just another idiot that really doesn't know anything. And they think they know everything, but they don't. Um, you ought to respect the guys that have been around and really have seen a lot in the world of professional wrestling, that can really actually educate you. And but it just seems like nowadays this is the way of the world. Uh, Kids growing up think they know it all. They think they're better than everybody else. A lot of kids tell their parents what to do, and it's a shame. It really is. But see, I know the group of people that I pretty much hang out with. I know, you know, I weren't around when they grew up. I was never anywhere near them when they grew up, but I know by their demeanor how well they were brought up. And like I said, if we're in a hangout and we have some sort of disagreement, we respect each other because it's not like we're bashing each other like so many other people do here on YouTube or on Facebook or really anywhere else. And it's a shame. It really is a shame. Um, Unfortunately, I was sort of hoping I'd get a couple people to join this hangout, but it probably wouldn't be the ones that I would expect because I would have some pretty heavy questions for them. It's like on Facebook when I was watching Bound for Glory last night. I was conversing a little bit with Peter Gilmore, who we are mutual, we are friends, but it seemed like everything I said he went against. And he does this quite often. I know he's a Ring of Honor mark. He claims Ring of Honor is better than everybody. Well, they are good, and I'm not discounting that. But are they better than everybody else? No, I wouldn't say so. I think they're right in the mix. Are they better than TNA? I'm not saying they are, and I'm not saying they aren't. Um, but and then he rates Ring of Honor. I'm not Ring of Honor, but Bound for Glory on Facebook. He gave it a 5, and then when he does his video, he said it sucked. I mean, so he's telling me one thing about certain matches, then he's in a video and he's saying something totally different. So to me, this is immature in my eyes. If I say a show is good, I am going to say the show is good no matter who I speak to. I'm not going to make excuses. I'm not going to, make it sound a little less important. I mean, this is how it should be. If you form an opinion on a wrestling show, don't on Facebook say one thing, then don't go to YouTube and put up a video and say something totally different, and then go into a hangout and then bash it. I mean, immaturity. It's a lot of immaturity with a lot of wrestling fans. And like I said, it's not all young wrestling fans. A lot of it's the older ones as well. And you know, like I said, I'm far from perfect. I just like watching wrestling. I've been sort of like down on wrestling lately because I don't think the product has been that good. But after watching the MSG show and watching Bound for Glory, it sort of lifted my spirits up a little bit. Now we won't really see anything from TNA probably that is original until next year. Hopefully, if they do get a TV deal, and if they don't, I guess it'll probably be aired on the internet. It's happened before. I guess it could happen again. But so now I'm even sort of looking forward to seeing what's going to happen on Monday Night Raw tonight. Do I think it's going to be anything spectacular? Probably not. I believe Brock Lesnar will be on. It's going to be a build towards the Undertaker's Hell in the Cell match. Hopefully we'll find out who John Cena's opponent's going to be at Hell in the Cell because that is supposed to be his last appearance on WWE TV for pretty much close to the rest of the year. So they're just going to start building up towards Hell in the Cell. But yeah, the bottom line is, if you like a show, don't be don't be discouraged about liking it. I mean, don't don't feel like you have to, hide the fact that you like that show because you're worried about what other people are gonna think about you. Because everybody knows me here on YouTube that I'm a John Cena fan, and I will back John Cena 100%. I think in the last 10 years, he's been at the top of the WWE, and it's hard for anybody to go 10 years and be on top. You got to figure the guy is probably burnt out doing all the traveling and doing everything he does outside the ring. Um, so, I mean, you got to give the guy credit. And whether you like him or hate him, at least respect him. But if there's others that do like John Cena, like myself, and you want to say, negative remarks about him, that's fine. But I look at it this way. When you hate on John Cena, there's some sort of jealousy there. There's got to be a reason why you hate him, other than the fact that you don't think he should be around anymore or he's on top too much. Um, there's got to be something more to it than that. But a lot of people never disclose that kind of thing. So, but yeah. So anyway, again, there's a lot of immaturity in wrestling fans, and it's been going on and on and on. And I would really have loved to debate somebody here that was against what I have just said about wrestling fans, about TNA or about anything else. But it doesn't look like anybody's going to confront me here at this point. So that's okay. I know it's early in the day. It's like 2:40 Eastern time here in the Northeast, and it's a lot later in other parts of the world and whatnot. And but again, um, I'll say it one last time. I thought Bound for Glory was a very, very good show. Was better than last year's. Um, was it the best? No, absolutely not. But for what they had for a roster and the way they scripted it all and whatnot, I thought it was pretty good. Like with Tyrus winning the gauntlet for gold, I thought was pretty cool because like everybody's always saying, it's always the same people in the championship mix. Well, TNA, they changed it up. They gave it to Tyrus. I mean, he can go for any one of those belts, and obviously he's choosing to go for the TNA World Heavyweight Title belt. But again, and same thing with Matt Hardy winning. A lot of people thought that Jeff Hardy being the referee, which and I did as well, thought maybe he was going to turn heel and do something and maybe possibly keep EC3 retaining as a TNA World Heavyweight Champion, or maybe Drew Galloway could end up coming out on top, but it wasn't to be. But again, it was in North Carolina, and this is what wrestling promotions usually do for their stars. When you're at a big show like that, they try to let your stars, that come from that state shine. So, with all that being said, I'm going to end this broadcast. I'm ending it a little shorter than I wanted to. But anyway, I've sort of run out of words as to what I wanted to say. But again, everybody has a choice to watch whatever they want to watch. I prefer WWE and TNA. I will watch Ring of Honor. I will watch Lucha. But regardless, either way, I don't bash any of them saying one is better than the other. I do critique them when I think the product isn't all that good, and I'll do it for all of them. It's not just a one-sided thing where it's like, I'm a WWE mark and I'm bashing TNA or I'm bashing Ring of Honor or I'm bashing Lucha Underground. That's not the case. I will critique any promotion I feel that doesn't live up to their potential, especially when you know they can be a lot better uh, than what they've shown. And I do believe the WWE could be much better than what they are. Like I said in the past, they need to change up on a few things, make some changes, start pushing some different people, maybe take a page out of what TNA did at Bound for Glory last night with Tyrus and Matt Hardy, and maybe make some surprises. But will they do it? I pretty much doubt it. So, anyway, on that note, I'm going to say so long, peace out, and again, uh, it's wrestling is at a point where it's pretty much at its all-time low. Um, it's been like this for a little bit of time, but this past weekend sort of, revived me a little bit and made me really want to, try to get back into it all over once again. So, okay, guys, peace out, and you enjoy the rest of your Monday. And again, we got Monday Night Raw tonight.